This fantasy novel is a brutal story about the Vladan Empire. The main character, an illegitimate son, was abandoned by his mother. The main character, whom he marries, reminds him of his mother. And now that our heroine knows the plot, she is going to read this novel. After being urged not to read it, she became even more curious. No matter how much she scrolled, the story never ended. She decided to finish reading the rest at home, since she wouldn't do it in public. The girl didn't even notice how a truck was driving towards her at that moment. They say that before death, the best memories flash before your eyes. But all the heroine wanted was for no one to see her phone. When she woke up, she was surprised that she was still alive. Someone suddenly asked her to pick mushrooms for dinner. She saw some woman, not understanding who it was. It seems like it was her mother who said that she never listens to her. The girl speaks as if she is seeing her mother for the first time, which is true. Mom thought that she just wasn't fully awake yet. She tells the girl that they are in a village on the outskirts of the great Vladan Empire. The heroine guesses that this is the very empire from the novel, so she found herself in the cruel world of this story. A week later, she realized the situation she found herself in. The girl thanks her mother for the stew she cooked. If she wants more, she can ask her mother. Our heroine's name is Lucette. Her father died of illness, and now she lives with her mother. The local lord, a commoner, rose to his position because he was a gifted composer, which means this place is great for unemployed living. In the imperial palace, where the action takes place, they can kill each other. But this has nothing to do with Lucetta, who lives in an ordinary house. She tells her mother that she really likes her stew. Lucette noticed how hot the food was and how loving the family was. The mother laughed, noticing that her daughter was staring at her. She called builders to her house to fix their roof. At that moment, Dahlia came to them and brought apples. Chelsea remembers that last time she treated them to potatoes. Lucette recognized Aunt Dahlia, who would chatter non-stop. Realizing that this will take a long time, Lucette decides to take a walk. It seems she was afraid for nothing, because it's quite nice here. At one point, she saw a group of guys bullying a boy. They took away his glasses, without which the boy has poor vision. Lucette watches in horror as the nightmare unfolds. She quickly realized that these guys were bullying the boy. The boy suddenly stumbles and begins to fall. He fell into a nearby river, wetting his clothes. The guys make fun of him, saying that it's all because he can't see anything. The one holding the glasses asked what he should do with them. Deciding not to leave it all alone, Lucette stands up for the boy. She doesn't like that they all attacked him alone. Then she asked the boy if he was okay. Lucette asks him to grab her hand so that she can help him get out. The boy's eyes are like precious stones. The bully asks Lucy not to barge in and cause trouble, but she doesn't understand why they are making fun of someone who has done nothing. In response to her words, the bully asks to look at the boy's blood-red eyes. He recalled that he considers red eyes a curse, but Lucy thinks it's just superstition. In an empire constantly at war, red is a bad color, but it's not the boy's fault that he has red eyes. Lucy says that her hair is red too, but for some reason, they don't make fun of her because of this. But that's not what the bully meant. Lucy pretended to be upset that Vincent had made fun of her. He and his friends eventually run away, leaving the boy's glasses behind. Lucy picks them up and hands them to the boy. At that moment, she noticed how his hands were shaking. Thinking that it might be a weakness, Lucy became worried. Since he is cold, she helps him get to dry land faster. Lucy told him that this would give him a cold. She decides to take the boy home. She doesn't remember there ever being a house in this place. Inside, the house looks more like a secret library. Lucy wanted to look around here more. She persuades the boy, because everything here is so exciting. He didn't expect that she would like it so much, so he allowed it. The boy believes that there should be no visitors in this place. It is against etiquette and rules to let a guest in without any preparation, but he thinks that an exception can be made for Lucy. Lucy thinks he'd better change into dry clothes, but the boy simply doesn't want to leave the guest alone. Lucy will be amused by what a polite child he is, but since she was fine, she said that she would wait for him. And when he left, Lucy decided to look around again. She assumes that this boy is very smart since he has read so many books. He looks awkward, but very cute. Lucy tries to remember a name that describes such people. The heroine remembered that people like him are called nerds. Suddenly, she noticed a bottle standing on the table. There's a terrible smell coming from it, as if something is rotten there. Lucy almost dropped the bottle in confusion. The boy who appeared asked her what she was doing. He seemed angry because she touched his things without permission. Lucy began to apologize frantically because she was scared, but the boy didn't understand why she was suddenly doing this. In fact, he brought her cookies. It seemed like she had never tasted anything more delicious in her life. Lucy didn't expect the cookies served to the guests to turn out like this. She thanked the boy and said that she liked it. Lucy asked him when he moved to this city. It turns out he's only been here for 4 days. Lucy thought the place was an empty lot, but the boy said that the house was already here when he arrived. He also confirmed that all the books on the shelves belonged to him. There are a lot of books here that look difficult for Lucy, The boy said that he liked philosophy, and he began to tell us what books he read about. Of course, this information did not give Lucy anything. Realizing that he had misspoke, the boy apologized. But suddenly, he started coughing, probably having caught a cold. The boy drinks that same foul-smelling substance. This is the only medicine that helps him. Lucy thought it would be impudent if she started asking about the illness. The heroine said that she needed to go home for a short while. The boy didn't have time to say anything before she had already closed the door. He began to worry that he had made a mistake. It seems it's all because he talked about things that only he knows. But maybe Lucy realized that this place was strange. The boy remembers being told that no one should know who he really was. They cast a mind control spell on the villagers for protection. Because the boy had red eyes, everyone pointed at him. It would seem that he had already gotten used to it and let go of this situation. But for some reason, now he felt lonely. Soon, he heard that Lucy had returned. She brought with her a stew prepared by his mother. After all, taking medicine on an empty stomach is harmful. It's still warm, and Lucy asks to eat it quickly. Now the boy understood why she left in such a hurry. Lucy just wanted to treat him as quickly as possible, and suddenly the heroine asked his name, introducing herself. He said his name was Levinas, and she could call him Lev. After that, they became friends, and the House of Levias was their secret cover. Lev was able to solve the Rubik's Cube without any problems. He doesn't consider himself a genius because of this, and Lucy thought that because of her stupidity, it was difficult for him to play with her. But Lev clarified that it was she who was playing with him, and not he with her. After all, Lucy comes to see him and talk. This is all new for Levinas. He is happy and wants to keep it that way forever. Lucy decided that it would be easy for them to arrange this. They promise each other that they will remain friends forever. Lucy's mother thought that her daughter was in Levinas's house. She asked the boy how he was doing. Besides this, she brought with her a baked pie. She thought that Leo had a hard time being friends with Luce, but that's not true. Levinas knows that it is customary to come to visit with gifts. Lucy reminded them that they were friends, so they could do without a gift. Since they are always playing, she cannot give gifts every time. As the evening approaches, it's time for Lucy to return home. She stroked Levinas on the head, asking him not to miss her. The more time they spend together, the more difficult it is for Levinas to say goodbye. Lucy's mother noticed that her daughter had become very close to Leo, so she suggested that Lucy would go to the festival with him this year. Lucy said she wanted to go on the quiz show. At the Rodanthe Festival, you can enjoy entertainment with your partner. The main prize is a tour of the capital. Curiosity is quite natural when you live in the countryside, but Lucy is afraid of drawing on the plot of the novel while she is there. But there is also a prize pool here, and it is quite large. She is confident that if she takes Leo with her, they will definitely win. Having decided to bribe him with her mother's ragu, Lucy is sure that he will not refuse. As she approached his house, Lucy noticed a strange glow coming from the window. Levinas developed a terrible cut on his hand, but the Imperial magician Radon asks him not to panic. He sees what His Highness is thinking about. Levinas needs to remain here as quietly as if he were dead. Raiden hopes his advice was helpful. He has healed Levinas's wound and is now ready to leave. At that moment, Lucy's voice was heard outside the door. Radinum didn't expect that Lev already had a girlfriend. He would be interested to see who it was. But Levinas will not force him to repeat himself so that he leaves. And if this is an order, Raiden will carry it out. But we must remember that the Emperor is not so tolerant. Finally, when Radon leaves, Levinas comes out to Lucy. He apologized, asking how long she had been waiting for him. Leo was afraid that she was in a bad mood. He thought she had heard their conversation, but Lucy suddenly asked what happened to his hand. She calmed down when she saw that there were no wounds. Levinas realized that she had not heard their conversation. Lucy became worried when she saw his blood-soaked sleeve. She said that she had brought stew and offered to eat. Levinas had to say that he was studying some things in his room. He likes being around Lucy, but it's too dangerous. He asks Lucy not to go up to the second floor anymore. The heroine agreed without any problems if that's what he wanted. In response, Lucy asks him to pay attention to the sound of knocking. She suggests that he open the door until the 10th knock. Levinas repeated her words, promising to do so. Besides this, Lucy asks him to go with her to the festival. A partner is required to participate in the quiz, and Lucy thought it would be great to go with him. But Levinas doesn't think he's fit for this quiz. Although Lucy is confident that with his level, they will take first place. She will accept his refusal if he doesn't want to go. In that case, Lucy will ask Dominic about it. Leo doesn't like this idea, so he agrees. Lucy asks him to do everything possible with her. Finally, the day of the festival Lucy has been waiting for arrives. She didn't expect Levinas to look so unusual. This is the first time Lucy sees Levinas so dressed up. The way she looked at him made him think he looked strange, but Lucy thought that this suit would not be suitable for such hot weather. But it's okay, because he still has things to change into. Only Lucy was surprised that Levinas only had checkered clothes. All these clothes looked too warm for this weather. She finally managed to change Levinas's clothes. She is embarrassed because Levinas is so perfect. Leo was going to wear something that Lucy would like. If someone hears these words, they may misunderstand. His hair was disheveled, and Lucy decided to fix it. She thinks that he shouldn't do that just anywhere. Levinas thought he had something on his face. Lucy noticed that Leo's glasses had no lenses. Before leaving, Lucy gives him a hat that her mother made. Dominic saw them and didn't expect them to go to the festival together. This upset him because he thought that she would go with him. Eventually, he decided to meet Levinas. Although he had heard Lucy call him Lev, he asked to be called Levinas. Donliki said he could teach Levinas to play football if he got tired of Lucy, but Levinas coldly replied that this would not happen. Dominic ran away, telling them to do whatever they wanted. After this, Lucy and Levinas climbed into the carriage. Lucy doesn't understand why Leo is so cold to Dominic. Maybe he's just shy around strangers. Levinas took with him the cookies that Lucy liked last time, so Lucy decided he just needed some time. Leo suggests that she take a nap if she is tired. Since she was given permission, she decided to get some sleep. If Lucy wants Leo to be friends with Dominic, he will do it, but he wants only her to call him Lev. This name will be only for her, as Levinas decided. Next, we are transported to the capital of the empire, Vladin, the imperial palace. Delmar complains to Radan that his brother has disappeared. Radan asked what he wanted him to do. Delmar asks to be sent to his brother. He doesn't know the reasons why the prince is hiding. He just wants to see his brother. But Rodan is not sure that Levinas will really be happy to see him. Delmar is absolutely sure that his brother misses him. Since this is the case, Rodan agrees to send him to his brother. He asks Delmar not to take off his cloak, which, if necessary, will return him to the palace. Delmar wondered why he needed such a thing when meeting his brother, but this is just a precaution. Delmar doesn't understand where they are going in that case. He wanted to stop Rodanam, but it was too late. Rodan only hopes that he won't be scolded for this. Lucy really likes the festival. It's a lot of fun. In all the games they participated in, they took first place. Thus, they accumulated a lot of gifts. Lucy asks if Leo is sure he wants to give her his gifts. He agreed without any problems because it was enough for him to see her happy. He again says things that can be misunderstood. In exchange for this, she asks him to take the snow globe, but this is the thing she wanted most of all. That's why Lucy gives it to Levinas. Since she says so, the boy has to accept the gift. Lucy wants to come in second at the next quiz. Although she could well have aimed for first place, Lucy is quite happy with second place, and it surprises Levinas that she is satisfied with second place. Besides, she is not interested in the prize, a tour of the capital. Lucy remembered that her mother asked her to go to the store. She asks Levinas to wait here while she carries out an assignment. So Levinas finds himself at the registration desk for the quiz. He wonders when Lucy will return. At some point, he heard a familiar voice. It turned out to be his brother Delmar, asking passers-by about him. Delmar asked if they had seen a boy with red eyes. Levinas did not expect to see his brother here. Delmar mentions that Levinas is quite tall. Levinas comes up behind him and asks how he got there. Delmar admits that he has missed him since he disappeared. He said that he asked Radnam for help because he wanted to see Levinas. Hugging him, he tells him again how much he missed him. Delmar still does not regard Levinas as a representative of the lower class. Regardless of the imperial rules, this is what he prefers. But Delmar can do whatever he wants, because no one will scold him anyway. But when he breaks the rules, Levinas is punished instead. Delmar shouldn't pretend he doesn't know why Levinas is here. He asked where he could go next, and if it would be hell. Even though Levinas was forced to come here, he really likes it here. Delmar asks him to return to the palace, that he will beg his father. But Levinas is not going to listen to him. He asks him to come back. Next time, he promises to visit him properly. But Levinas tells him not to come anymore, because he doesn't want to see him anymore. At that moment, Lucy, who had returned, saw them. She asked Levinas what he was doing there. He had to lie that he was helping a lost child. Delmar had no choice but to play along. Lucy asks Delmar to take care of himself. For some reason, Delmar's cloak activated, which only does this when he is in danger. Perhaps Levinas saw him as a threat, but Delmar doesn't understand why this is all happening to him. They are a little late for the quiz because of what happened. At some point, Levinas changed his direction. Lucy reminded him that this was the location of the Mrs. and Mr. Rodanth pageant. While Lucy was heading to their quiz, Levinas went the other way. Lucy smiled, noticing how embarrassed the boy was. Levinas thought it was all because he dressed up like that. Be that as it may, Lucy knew he had a sweet side. Levinas is glad that they figured everything out. Lucy asked if the quiz had started yet. She hopes that they can still join. Normally this would be forbidden, but there aren't many participants here. They can join, but the first 3 answers will be marked as incorrect. Lucy was glad that they could still participate. There really weren't that many participants in the quiz. It must be the Lord. He looks bored. Lucy asks Levinas not to worry if he doesn't know the answer, but she saw that he was already stressed out over the answers. Thus, Levinas once again provides an answer to the question. Lucy was surprised that he answered 10 questions in a row correctly. All the questions were difficult. It seems that Leo really knows a lot. Lucy is simply amazed that he knows so much. Soon, there is one last question left on the quiz. Long ago, His Majesty, the former emperor, destroyed all the sorcerers who were hindering the empire. At that time, the sorcerers quickly gave up. But there was one who resisted to the end. Although he was a traitor, he had great strength and a strong spirit. The question was, what was the name of this sorcerer? Levinas told Lucy that he knew the answer, but if they answer, they will take first place. Lucy asks him to tell the answer only to her, so Levinas shares with her that the last sorcerer of the empire was named Radan. The quiz is over. No one has answered the question, but the Lord noticed that Lucy and Levinas answered correctly. These two answered almost all the questions correctly. The Lord asks Johann to look after these children. Perhaps they will still be useful to them. Leo asked Lucy what she wanted to do with the money. Lucy would like to buy new clothes for her mother. She just wants her mom to wear cute clothes. Lucy thought they had agreed to split the prize money. Levinas also wants to take the opportunity to thank Lucy's mother. Since Lucy is embarrassed to accept the money, she will grant the boy 3 wishes in exchange. She feels like she's just getting everything, but Leo had already received enough from her. Lucy was always so warm and friendly. Levinas wishes that such days would never end. Shopping is always fun for Lucy. She asked Levinas what she should choose, but Levinas was already overwhelmed with her purchases. Lucy apologized and suggested that he take a little break. Lucy was so worried because she hadn't been shopping for a long time. She also noticed a very beautiful necklace in the display case, but there is no point in finding out how much it costs. On the way home, Lucy asked Levinas what had been the funniest thing he had done today. In fact, it was his first time participating in a competition and going shopping. Lucy invites him to go to the next festival together, but Levinas probably won't be able to participate in the next quiz. But Lucy had more than just the quiz in mind. Thanks to him, she bought a lot of gifts and was happy, and she wants to go again because she enjoys spending time with him. Levinas wants to use one of the desires. He noticed that Lucy hadn't bought anything for herself, so he bought her a necklace that he thought would suit her. It was the same necklace that Lucy had noticed. Despite its cost, Lev bought it anyway. This is how Lucy realized that Leo was watching her. After all, he wouldn't have known that she hadn't bought anything for herself if he hadn't been watching her. Levinas liked how well the necklace fit Lucy. He also thanked her for accepting his gift. Lucy asks him to make a wish again. He would like her to stroke his head, but that's different. She needs him to actually come up with something worthwhile. Returning home, Lucy found herself alone. It seems that her mother has not returned yet. She thinks she has already heard something about Radanome. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden knock on the door. It turned out to be the man who supposedly forgot to get Lucy's signature before handing out the prize. But Lucy didn't include her address on the form. Lucy lies that she is tired and they can come to see her tomorrow. So the man agrees, promising to return tomorrow. Radon likes how quickly Lucy thinks. Lucy's mother is unhappy that someone was knocking on the door. Lucy reassures her that she is okay. First, Mom asks Lucy to open the presents. She liked everything her daughter bought. And then she noticed the necklace Leo had given Lucy. The woman noted that the gift was definitely not cheap. Her mother will be very busy from tomorrow. He and Dahlia are planning to open a store in Rodanthe. After Lucy's mother opened the store, a lot changed. But Lucy feels relieved because her mother looks happy. She looks more energetic since she opened the store. After each shift, Lucy felt exhausted. The store opened by her mother and Dahlia is doing very well. Dominic would also like to help, but he has been very busy lately. Dominic began to learn blacksmithing. Lucy had a good laugh at his first invention, but that's only because he's new. Lucy's mother and Dominic are so immersed in work that the girl even envies them. At first she wanted to play, but seeing others working, she became worried. She wants to figure out what she wants to do. When Lucy came to Levinas, he gave her hot cocoa. She suddenly noticed an unfamiliar wound on his finger. Lev asked if she had finished reading the introductory math book. Lucy had to lie that she read it. That's why Levinas wants them to study together. Any journey of learning begins with theory. Leo suggests starting with mathematics, the foundation of all subjects. But Lucy asks him to start with another subject today. Without thinking twice, she decided that it would be physical education. Her emotions are significantly different than when she is doing math. Lucy apologizes and admits that she just can't get into mathematics. Leo jokingly says that she should just become an expert at snowballs, but he just wants her to do what she enjoys. Lucy wants the same for Levinas. Levinas wants to treat her to dinner today. For Lucy, the fact that Leo also cooks is a revelation. Maybe he's always enjoyed cooking, or maybe he wanted to give it a try. While she was daydreaming, Leo made her a birthday cake. Lucy mentioned earlier that it was her birthday, so it's a special day. Leo wanted to do something that Lucy would really like. Lucy couldn't resist and hugged Levinas tightly. She thanks him, admitting that she has never felt so happy. Leo noticed that she had been worried a lot lately. Lucy mentally promises him that she will find a way to pay. Levinas was worried because he had prepared all this in a hurry. Next time, he promises her to cook everything carefully. Suddenly, he heard a noise outside. It turned out that Her Majesty the Empress had arrived here. Levinas had changed a lot since the last time they saw each other. She asked if he needed anything, or if he was experiencing any discomfort. Leo feels comfortable with the decision made by the Emperor. The boy sincerely does not understand why she suddenly came. He thought he would never see her again. She guesses that Levinas is very surprised now. Perhaps the Empress is worried about overpopulation problems. Leo believes that the decisions of the imperial court have reasons. He doesn't feel any pain or danger. Having made sure of his well-being, it was time for the Empress to leave. The boy asked in surprise if she really didn't need anything else. She said no, and asked him not to forget to take his medication. Levinas is angry that he is being watched so often. He is upset that he is being spied on and interfered with. Levinas is happy that he can be with Lucy, but he cannot tolerate anything that interferes with this. He needs to come up with a plan to protect himself and Lucy. Lucy has been looking worried lately, but the girl insists that she is fine. She thought she had indigestion. Lucy asked if Levinas had any medicine for indigestion, but he apologized because he had nothing like that. Lucy suggests that he go to the pharmacy and buy something, but she didn't expect that they had such a bad pharmacy in their village. The old woman working there offered me some water with honey to drink. Lucy lied that everything was fine with them, and they left. It's surprising that they don't have a good pharmacy in their village. Levinas thought the problem was in his cooking, but the girl said that the food was very tasty. Thus, the heroine realized that this world is truly ancient. She didn't think finding a cure would be so difficult. Remembering Levinas's medicine, she thinks it is unusual. Lucy thought about studying medicine, and this may be useful even for Levinas. He noticed that she looked happier. They were interrupted by some man. He recognized the children who won the quiz. This is Johann, the Lord's assistant, and he is glad to meet them. He wants them to give him some time. Lucy warned that they had already spent all the prize, but Johann clarified that the Lord wanted to see them. Johann said that they would find out everything themselves when they arrived. He asks them to relax because they are almost there. Levinas tensed, thinking that the Lord had revealed his identity, but he would not have been able to recognize him outside the imperial palace. At that moment, Levinas realized that he had forgotten his medicine. Lucy noticed that he looked unwell, and Leo said that he was just bored. But Lucy asked if he was sure he wasn't feeling unwell. Levinas convinces her that there is nothing wrong and everything is fine. The Lord thanks them for the journey they have made here. He offers to have tea and snacks while they chat. It all looks like the Lord is trying to be hospitable. Lucy wonders what exactly he wants to talk about. The Lord asked if they had answered the last question on the quiz. Lucy saw this in a book, but she wasn't sure of the answer, so she didn't write it down. Typically, this is of interest to either high-level nobles or those deeply interested in science. So the Lord asked them if they were interested in science. And are they planning to move to the capital when they grow up? Lord and Johann were pleased to hear this. They finally found valuable talents for Rodanthe. The Lord asked them to say what they plan to study next. After all, they have been looking for talent in Rodanthe for a long time, but everyone prefers to leave for the capital. They didn't find anyone they could teach until they met Lucy and Levinas. They will get everything for them, be it teachers or books. But Lucy said there was no proper pharmacy in Rodanthe. She was upset that she couldn't find any medicine. That's why Lucy wants to study pharmacology. Even the subject that Leo wanted to study was unexpected. It turned out to be magical engineering and martial arts. Lucy already feels incredibly motivated. Leo apologized because he was going to return first, but Lucy noticed that he looked a little lethargic. His red ears caught her attention. Lucy followed him and asked Levinas to open the door. He promised to open the door for her before 10 knocks. But since this did not happen, Lucy entered herself. She heard strange sounds coming from above, and there, on the landing, Lucy found Levinas. Levinas immediately realized that he was being punished. He heard someone approaching him. The Emperor does not look for him, and Radon does not make any sounds. It turned out to be his mother, who said that as long as she was here, his presence here would be a burden. Levinas replied that this was not true. She doesn't understand how she can become the cause of even more trouble. But Levinas doesn't understand what she means. Not a minute had passed before it was time for her to leave. Levinas asks his mother not to leave him alone because he is scared. Before leaving, his mother finally asked him to be happy. While Levinas is unconscious, he calls for his mother. He has a high temperature. Something needs to be done about it. Leo grabbed Lucy's hand and asked her not to leave. He asks Lucy not to leave him here. Lucy reassures him that he doesn't need to be afraid. She promises that she will never leave him. She needs something to help bring down her fever, and suddenly, Lucy noticed that bottle of medicine. This is what Leo always carries with him, but the medicine turned out to be too viscous to drink. So Lucy began to think about what to do. She asked Levinas if he trusted her, and after this, Lucy herself gives him the medicine through his mouth. The boy's temperature dropped almost immediately. Lucy is surprised at how quickly this medicine works, but suddenly she noticed that there was nothing else in the bottle. Lucy needs to stay here until Leo wakes up. When Levinas woke up, he felt a headache. He saw Lucy lying next to him. He feels the bitterness of the medicine in his mouth. So the boy realized that Lucy herself had given him the medicine. He noticed residue of the medicine around Lucy's mouth. But this medicine was developed only for Levinas. For others, it may be poison. Fearing for Lucy, Levinas began to wake her up. Next, we return to the capital of the Vladan Empire, to the Imperial Palace. Radon suggested that Count Fortino was trying to resist the Western factions. It feels like he's trying to quietly expand his territory. Any threat to the throne must be nipped in the bud. There is nothing funnier than a man who does not know his place. His Majesty has not yet heard the report from the latest reconnaissance. He said that he was only interested in one thing. He needs to know if there are any threats to his throne. The name Levinas is the forgotten name of a prince. Nobody knows why Levinas had to leave the palace. Maybe because he was the illegitimate son of a concubine, or because he turned out to be as smart as his mother. After his birth, a magician made a prophecy, and the emperor took it seriously. Diana convinced His Majesty that Levinas was doing well. Radon confirms that Levinas likes the village. He has already made friends there and has settled in well, but as long as he has no dangerous thoughts, he does not worry His Majesty. The emperor will stop at nothing to maintain his power, but he is not the one who holds the real power. Diana can't let this happen to her. Delmar is still young, but the emperor's opinion could change at any moment. Diana must save this place and this child. Levinas blames himself for the fact that Lucy suffered because of him, but suddenly she finally opens her eyes. Lucy didn't even notice how she fell asleep here. She apologized to the boy for going up to the second floor without permission. She was worried, so she went after Levinas. Lucy said that she gave him medicine. She also apologized for trying the medicine. Levinas hugged her, glad that Lucy was okay. He thought something bad had happened to her, but Lucy asked him how he managed to drink such bitter medicine every time. When Levinas is sad, Lucy becomes sad too. Levinas thought he had lost her and felt lonely, and he promises that he will not put her in danger again. Johann is very excited about Lucy's first lesson, which he is not even teaching. Lucy is also excited about meeting the teacher. She will take the opportunity to learn more about Levinas's cure. Hearing footsteps, Lucy realized that the teacher had arrived. She felt uneasy when she saw her menacing look. They will begin by reading the first chapter of the textbook. Lucy can ask questions if they arise while reading. So, she had a question about plant toxins in mold. Lucy wants the difference between types of mold explained to her. The sad thing about self-study was that the books only covered the basics. And now Lucy has a teacher, and she can ask anything she wants. But suddenly, the woman said that she didn't need to know this. Lucy will still be able to cure them all with one antidote. Now that they have read the first chapter, they move on to practice. When the leaves undergo changes, it means that the maturation process is complete. The teacher asks Lucy to check it. The color is clear, the scent is strong, and Lucy thinks it was well made. Lucy can now create an antidote. At this point, the first lesson is over. The teacher leaves the class. Lucy felt the lesson was a bit superficial. It's possible that the teacher just doesn't like her. Johann comes to see Lucy and asks how the lesson went. In fact, he wants to ask something about Levinas. He shares that they haven't assigned him a teacher yet, and Johann went to check on him. Lev said he didn't expect anything, so Johann could leave him alone. Johann blames himself for making Levinas wait so long, but the Leo Lucy knows isn't that brash. She doesn't understand why he had to be rude to his assistant. On her way home, Lucy met Dominic. Dominic boasts about his successful work in the forge. A little more, and he will become the best blacksmith in this village. But it feels like just yesterday he was crying into Aunt Dahlia's skirt. Dominic was indignant, asking when he had ever done such a thing. As they walked, they met Levinas. Lucy smiled, guessing that Leo was waiting for her. Lucy shared with him that they had talked with Dominic about his affairs at the forge. She wonders if it is difficult for Levinas to study alone, but he's almost always been trained this way, so it's not difficult for him. Lucy tells him that the assistant is worried about him, but Levinas assures them that they shouldn't worry. After all, he is afraid that this might only add to his workload. Next time, Lucy suggests that they call Dominic. It's all because Dominic is also her old friend. It would be great if he and Levinas got along. Suddenly, Levinas asked if Lucy liked Dominique, and then he asked about himself, and Lucy said that he was her friend too. Then Levinas asks which of them is more special. He asked what would happen if one of them disappeared. Lucy needs to think about this and answer, but the girl doesn't want to think about that at all. The one who stayed would be special, but Leo believes that it should be the one who stays with Lucy until the end. And Lucy thinks that the special one would be the one who disappeared. After all, she would miss the one who disappeared. Still, she doesn't want this to happen. Levinas apologized for asking such a pointless question. Lucy thinks he's absolutely unique and doesn't want him to leave. But Leo told her that she had nothing to worry about. He decided to walk Lucy home during the rain. Thanks to him, Lucy was able to arrive safely. Suddenly, they met Dominic, who was waiting for her. He said that the roof of their house was leaking again. Her mother told him to let Lucy spend the night at Dominic's. Seeing him take her hand, the lion went berserk. He grabbed Lucy's wrist so hard that it hurt. Levinas doesn't like it when Lucy is with other people. He wants to be Lucy's only friend. Levinas also doesn't want her to allow others to get close to her. Dominic asked how long they would have to stand in the rain. Levinas apologized and let Lucy go. She says goodbye to him, asking him to get home carefully. Levinas wondered how he could keep her close to him. Lucy noticed a pile of books at Dominic's house. He said that his brother sent them to him. My brother sent the books in advance because they were heavy. He's always talking about history until Dominic's ears fall off. He spoke of sorcerers as powerful creatures. They take people's souls in exchange for their magic. Lucy wants to hear the story of the last sorcerer, but Dominic had heard only a little about it. He asks her to ask Levinas because he knows about it for sure. Dominic also knows Lev, but speaks coldly about him. But Dominique sees that Levinas doesn't even consider him a friend. Lucy doesn't believe that Levinas could ignore Dominique. Just like with Johann, for some reason, misunderstandings keep happening. Leo thinks he is the only one who could be with Lucy. Levinas is convinced that only he should be with Lucy. During the next lesson, the teacher asks Lucy to read more information in the book. A week has passed since the start of classes, but every time everything is the same. Lucy decides to ask why the side effects occur, and she replied that it was not necessary to know because it would not affect her business. But Lucy isn't studying pharmaceuticals just to make money. She is really curious, so she asks questions. Lucy really wants to learn how to heal people. The teacher doesn't understand why Lucy chose such a difficult path. A long time ago, she was asked to cure a noblewoman of an illness, and she managed in a month what no pharmacist could have managed. But the price of curing the disease was terrible. People were sure that she was a witch and used magic. Pharmacists are despised, both then and now. People think that drug treatment is magic. The teacher wants to protect Lucy from such accusations, and if Lucy didn't understand what she was talking about, she might not come to class anymore. Now Lucy understood where that scar on the woman's hand came from, but she still wants to attend classes. She shares that her friend suffers from a rare disease, and the teacher herself knows that pharmaceuticals are not dangerous. Therefore, you should not refuse the opportunity to save other people's lives. It reminded the teacher of the time when she first started working. She warns that she is a strict teacher, but Lucy is already looking forward to learning. Johann noted how energetic Lucy was today. Lucy shares that she has become very close to her teacher. Johann will look forward to the girl's future successes, but he asks her not to feel obligated. It will be enough if she doesn't give up halfway. People are convinced that pharmaceuticals are inherited from sorcerers, but they believe it is important to cultivate talent. Recently, in one of the fears, many people died because of garbage. That's why Johann asks Lucy to be prepared for anything. The number of books to read has increased dramatically. Lucy doesn't know whether to be happy or sad about this. Prejudices against magic seem to be quite strong here. The people here have a strong aversion to magic. But the important thing is that there are no magicians left now. Lucy lives in a time period that is completely unrelated to the main story. All that remains for her is to live in comfort. Radon, who was watching her, thought to leave her alone for now. Dominic has to work as a postman, even in the cold. He doesn't know how long his father plans to entrust him with delivering letters, and he wonders what kind of letters might arrive in such a village. He noticed that the next envelope looked expensive. From the seal, Dominic realized that this was the house of Count Menelik. The boy is shocked, because why would a nobleman send a letter to their village? He was even more surprised when he saw that the recipient was Lucy's mother. Maybe this means that Lucy is from a family of counts. But when Dominic opened the letter, it was empty inside. If Lucy were truly a noblewoman, she would not live in this village. Radon picks up the letter, calling the boy a scoundrel. Although this letter will be good luck for him. For now, it was better for him to let Lucy enjoy her peace. Levinas walks Lucy home. Lucy wondered if her mother had been overdoing it lately, but Leo promises her that on such dark days, he will see her off. Although the girl knows that he always sees her off, the only time he left first was when he was sick. Levinas apologized, because these were only his excuses. The truth is, He wanted to stay with her a little longer. Lucy told him that they could always be together. Lucy is afraid that Levinas will lose consciousness again. But recently, he has been leading a healthy lifestyle. But if something happens, he must tell Lucy. Before Lucy leaves, Leo wants to give her something. He hands her a box he made himself. Levinas asks her to open the box when she is alone. And when Lucy did this, she found a pendant inside. Suddenly, Levinas's voice was heard from this pendant. He asks if he can be heard well. He made this pendant because he wants to talk to people much longer. Lucy is also glad to hear his voice. Lucy also had something for Levinas. She asked him to check under the table. Lucy planned to surprise him, but Leo got ahead of her. Lucy made this using knowledge. Although it may not be as good as medicine, she did them little by little, analyzing what she learned. The girl also asks to read the note with instructions. Levinas has the feeling that this gift is better than his. He wonders what the medicine was originally for. Levinas did not tell anyone exactly what he was sick with. Suddenly, Levinas felt dizzy. He asks Lucy not to worry when she hears him sigh. As soon as he thought about the medicine, a headache pierced him. Lucy asks why he suddenly went silent. The next day, Lucy was still wondering how Leo was doing. When he contacted her through the pendant, he apologized for what happened. Levinas had to lie that he had simply fallen yesterday. Lucy was worried that he had passed out again. She becomes increasingly anxious about leaving Levinas alone. Next time, she wants to make an ointment too. You don't have to worry about him because he's not a child anymore. Suddenly, she heard the clash of swords outside. It turned out to be Leo, who was learning fencing practice. Lucy thought he finally had a good mentor, but she is still worried that the lion is not in the best condition. Levinas thanked her for her concern, but assured her that everything was fine. Lucy thought he might have overdone it in his first lesson. Then she asked if this man was not his mentor. Lucy complimented Leo on how he wielded his sword, but Levinas said he was not his fencing instructor. It turns out that this is one of the Lord's personal knights. His name is Fran, and he introduces himself as Lucy. Leo is embarrassed when Franz covers him with compliments. Franz thinks that Levinas is simply being modest. Finally, Johann, who had been looking for them, reached them. He told Franz that the Lord was looking for him. Yona apologized that he needed to pick up the knight for a short time. Franz says goodbye to them, promising to train again next time. Franz sees no point in teaching nobles, and Johann tells him that Lev is an orphan, but Franz saw how well Levinas wielded a sword. As if it was not the first time, this child received the imperial sword mastery. He is the son of a duke, or even higher, and is definitely not an ordinary child. On the way home, Levinas tells us that Sir Franz was generous. Still, Lucy thinks Levinas has talent. Next time, he will ask Franz to teach him some more. Franz deliberately put in more force when he saw Leo parrying his sword. But Levinas doesn't really want to deal with him anymore. Lucy felt embarrassed because her hair was a little tangled. The boy decides to help her untangle them. Lucy thinks Leo is too kind, because she could have done it herself. She reminds him how he fell yesterday while talking to her. Levinas is ashamed of this and asks to forget about it. He mentally apologizes for not being able to tell the truth. The royal family watches his every move. Even though he said he was fine, Lucy was still worried. If something happens to him, Lucy wants him to share this time with her. LSI hadn't yet realized that Lev was already relying on her so much. He has been her ray of sunshine since the day they met. Levinas makes Lucy blush with such words. He just wanted to say how much peace she brought him. Leo doesn't know if the day will ever come when he will tell the truth. Lucy suddenly noticed that he was smiling suspiciously. After that, time flew by and spring came. Lucy has been living in this village for almost a year. A lot has happened already, but Lucy has adapted well enough. This is the life she always wanted. The girl noticed someone waving at her. The guy said that she had grown a lot since their last meeting. He asked if she had forgotten his face yet, and Lucy suddenly realized that it was Dietrich. He asked why Lucy hadn't answered him for so long. Dietrich heard from Dominic that she began attending classes at Rodanthe Castle. Lucy is just returning from there. In fact, it is becoming more and more difficult, and it is no longer as easy as in the beginning. Dietrich asks her not to forget about walks and fun. Since his professor is on vacation, he will be in the village for some time. Lucy asks Dietrich to tell more about the story he told Dietrich. A story about a magician that Lucy finds very interesting. It's about a prince who was treated poorly because of his status. He entered into a political marriage and had a difficult relationship with his wife. As a result of constant misunderstandings, he killed everyone he loved. Dietrich finds it all a little surprising. It bothers him that Lucy is interested in such things. Members of the royal family cannot harm each other. The magicians have long since disappeared. So this kind of magic is called ancient. Dietrich asked why Lucy was suddenly interested in such things. Lucy thought that the story of the novel was already over. Perhaps the story in the novel doesn't exist at all. Mother told Delmar it was time to go to bed, but Delmar only slept so well when his brother read books to him. He wants them to bring his brother back because he feels sorry for him. He thinks that he too must be lonely living in that village. Diana tensed up and asked how he knew this. She guesses that Delmar also saw him. She did tell him not to leave the palace without permission. Delmar had to tell that Radan had sent him there. Radan allowed Delmar to see his brother when he asked. Delmar insists that nothing happened to him. Since His Majesty said nothing, it means nothing significant happened. But if he mistakenly decides that Delmar is interested in the exiled crown prince, things will not end well. From this moment on, Delmar must never see Levinas again. Now Delmar will read that he never saw him. This situation is dangerous. Diana needs to somehow protect her child. Radan should have known it was dangerous. Now Diana must give the magician a warning. Having met Diana, Radan realized that he could not hide from her eyes. He asks Her Highness to simply give an order, and he will carry it out. Diana heard that he allowed her child to meet Levinas, but it was not without reason that His Majesty isolated Levinas from Delmar. After all, Radan doesn't want to anger His Highness. Radan admits that this was thoughtless. Diana asked what prophecy His Majesty had received that led to Levinas's isolation. Radan cannot reveal this because it is a promise. The prophecy can only be heard by those it concerns. Radan asked what exactly she was interested in. Diana is worried that her child might get hurt. However, every prophecy has its price. One word from her and the contract will be concluded. However, she will know the price when it is fulfilled. Diana feels like he's trying to hide the terms of the deal, but Radanam only tells the truth. She has nothing to worry about. The Empress's prophecy is like an unripe fruit. Diana is no longer sure that his prophecy can be trusted. It's sad, but this is the only way to protect her son at the moment. Wanting to begin the deal, Diana asks for a prophecy about Delmar. Radan carries out her order without hesitation. Radan presents the prophecy to Her Majesty the Empress. Diana took the golden apple and ate it. In the prophecy, someone asks Diana to find Delmar's bride. Johann told Levinas and Lucy that there would soon be a music and science festival. This is a chance to demonstrate the skills you have acquired. It's a spring festival, and that has its own charm. But the Lord will explain the rest to them. The Lord greets them almost with hugs. He realized that Johann had already told them about the festival. This festival celebrates the achievements of research conducted over the winter. Last night, the Lord completed a new piece of music. Invitations were sent throughout the empire, and there is one more thing the Lord would like to ask them. He wants Lucy and Levinas to participate in the festival. They have nothing to fear. They can relax. Johann asks them to think of it as a good experience. Lucy said she would talk to Lev about it. In fact, she is very panicked because she could not even imagine such a thing. It's easier said than done, that it's simple. Lucy warned Levinas that he had no obligation to participate. He is a self-taught learner and doesn't like attention. Levinas promises to help the girl in any way he can. This festival seems to be much bigger than Lev thought. He hopes that nothing happens because he can't leave here yet. Diana tells His Majesty about the epidemic. He heard that the Duchy of Peter had suffered greatly. Diana wants to find a mate for Delmar before it's too late. Reading the names of those on the list, His Majesty thinks it is just a coincidence. He guessed that Diana had selected only those families that were loyal to them. She asks him to review the candidates and share his thoughts. At this moment, His Majesty laughed suspiciously. Radan tells Levinas that he should get used to what is happening to him. He suggests we see what Levinas has on his mind today. Radan noticed that Levinas seemed agitated. But unfortunately for him, there is nothing remarkable. He was about to turn away when Lev stopped him. He asks if there will be someone who will reveal his identity at the upcoming event. Radan noted how often he has been approached recently. He said that prophecies originally imply reading the future. For Levinas, this is forbidden, and the price must be significant. This concept is relative, so Radanos will take from him what is most dear to him. Levinas immediately thought of Lucy. Radanos asks Levinas if he is ready, but the boy understands that he cannot trade Lucy. Radan said there might be one person who would recognize him. Levinas asks him to stop, because he has not yet agreed. But this was not a prophecy, but only a guess. Radan called it his investment. Lucy complains to Levinas that she is tired of studying. The teacher is full of enthusiasm about the wonderful opportunities. Lucy wants to get a good night's sleep when the festival is over. She asked Levinas if he would come even if he didn't perform. The boy was embarrassed. wondering whether he should come. Lord and Johann said he could decide for himself. Lucy hopes that Leo is not hesitating because of his eyes. She thought he was worried because his eyes were different. They did have some troubles because of this. Levinas recalls how she told him it was superstition, and Lucy asks him to never forget what she said. The girl tells him that he has the most beautiful eyes. Levinas agrees to go to the festival. He thinks he'll be okay as long as Lucy is around. Whatever gets in his way, he'll deal with it. The next act takes us to the Schimmel Castle. The daughter asked her mother why she had to go through all this. She doesn't like that she became a candidate for the prince's wife, but her mother asks her not to worry, because for now, she is only a candidate. Aloys doesn't want to become empress. Mom doesn't understand how one can refuse an imperial decree. For a girl, this is tantamount to her dying. Everyone who had a slight conflict with His Majesty died, but Mom asks Aloys not to say that, because they still have time. She will resolve the issue with the Imperial Palace. Aloys believes that she will not have to go to the palace. Mom asks me to trust her and calm down. Now the girl should forget about her worries and go for a walk. Her mother had just received a letter about a small event taking place on the outskirts, but Aloys should refrain from going out in public. But her mother suggests that she disguise herself. Lucy's mother reads the letter she received. They write to her with a request for the last time and are ready to give anything. Chelsea doesn't understand what to make of this, since this is the first time she has received the letter. Manalit County has always suspected that she, a simple maid, seduced her husband. Disappointed, her husband left the county with her, but these devilish spawn could not accept this and took his life. Not only did they kill her husband, but now they are targeting her daughter as well. Lucy tells her mother that she is leaving. She told her about the festival. Lucy promises that they only have a little bit of effort left. Chelsea believes her daughter will do great. She reminds her not to follow strangers. She also reminds her to be careful on the road. Now Chelsea sees how much her daughter has grown. Chelsea thinks she needs to forget everything that happened before she came here. She should erase it as if it never happened. Chelsea will protect her daughter no matter what. The Emperor wondered if he had really become such a lazy person. For some reason, he is concerned about the event in this village, but he guessed that Levinas was in this village. He orders that someone be sent to Baron Rodanthe. This will be a great opportunity to get rid of the bone in your throat. The Emperor orders that Levinas be dealt with. Aloys asked her father if everything would be okay. She is worried that someone will recognize her and she will be punished. But her father assures her that this place has nothing to do with the Imperial Palace. Anyone who looks at Aloys will think that he is a worthy young man. Aloys believes she feels uncomfortable because she is not used to this image. First of all, it was her mother's suggestion. Instead, she should try to think about the evening concert. The father is confident that the Lord's speech will make her heart calmer. He wants to spend this wonderful day with his daughter. Aloys hopes that many good things will happen today. Lucy finished her speech by thanking everyone for their attention. It's finally over. She tried so hard. Levinas says her performance was wonderful. Lucy thought it was a little damp, but Leo is delighted that she picked everything out perfectly. Thanks to him, Lucy felt relieved, but anyone could see how much work Lucy put into her performance. Leo invites Lucy to attend a lecture that has interested him. It seemed like this lecture had been going on for hours. Lucy didn't expect it to be magical engineering. Since Levinas still doesn't have a teacher, this is an opportunity to find one. Lucy is pleased to see him working so hard. Lucy used too much energy during her performance. Levinas realized that she was bored and allowed her to go out for a walk. Now that she's outside, Lucy feels more cheerful. This is just an ordinary scientific conference, and the Lord said that there are no talents in Rodanthe. Suddenly, Lucy heard the sound of music from somewhere. It turned out to be the main concert hall where Johann was rehearsing. Johann heard that Lucy's audience enjoyed her performance, but Lucy believes that she succeeded only thanks to her teacher. Johann said that they are preparing for the festival. He assures that the Lord's performance is truly top-notch. He finishes his preparations, promising to see him later at the concert. Lucy will be looking forward to the concert. Suddenly, she accidentally ran into the Lord. She heard that they were meeting Duchess Schimmel, the first female duke in the history of the Empire, and also the main heroine of the cruel history of the Vladan Empire. Father Alizé reminds that this is an informal visit. He asks not to make a noise and to quickly tell where their place is. The Lord asked for forgiveness, promising to take them to the most peaceful places. Lucy is puzzled as to why the Schimmel family is here. The family may prosper after the end of the original story, but for some reason, Lucy couldn't let go of this ominous feeling. Suddenly, Raiden approached her and asked why she was here alone in the midst of the celebration. He says it is dangerous to sit alone in a remote place. Lucy just needed to be alone. She asked him if it was dangerous for him to be here alone too, but Ranadam said he was comfortable alone, and he added that he doesn't like to run into people. Lucy noticed his red eyes, thinking that he had been through a lot. She doesn't believe in this superstition. Lucy said that her friend also has red eyes, and he is a good person. She just remembered that she had to contact Levinas soon. Raiden said that he was still here, watching people. There is nothing more interesting to him than this. He asks Lucy to just imagine it and think about it. People are designed to always have one thing they want. Eat well, be happy, have strength. Sometimes, such a strong desire destroys itself. Raiden is delighted to see them devouring people. No matter how many times he watched people, he never got tired of it. Thinking he was being weird, Lucy said she had to go. She asks Radinoma to enjoy the rest of the holiday, but since she shared her story, he also wants to tell something interesting. He asks her to pay attention to people looking around in public. Frightened by him, Lucy asked him not to come closer, and when I turned around, he was no longer there. The Lord thanks everyone for attending the event, and then he began to perform an interpretation of spring in Rodanthe. The guests had no doubt that he was as skilled as ever. Lucy is still uneasy about what happened earlier. Her attention was drawn to her father and Aloys. She heard the father call what seemed to be his son, Aloys. This is how Lucy realized that we were talking about the main character of the story. She had to pretend she didn't see anything. Suddenly, she noticed that the man sitting next to the Lord was looking strangely in her direction. She wondered why he was suddenly looking at the audience. Lucy thought that this might be what Raiden had told her. Lucy tries to calm down under the pretext that the man is just watching. If this man is truly a killer, he must have a target. If it were the Lord, he would have been killed long ago. Johann's status is not high enough to warrant anger, and Franz is too strong for direct confrontation. There is someone here who occupies a fairly high position, Aloys, who is weak to resist and who hides her identity. Suddenly, the man stood up unexpectedly, and Lucy understood everything. She hurried to Aloys and asked her to dodge. The man asks Lucy not to interfere and get out of the way, but it was too late. Levinas, meanwhile, is trying to contact Lucy. He doesn't understand why this always happens to him. Suddenly, Levinas hears talk that someone is dead. Nobody expected this to happen during the festival. Goosebumps ran down my spine when someone mentioned the girl with red hair. Levinas tensed up, asking the crowd of people to let him pass. He looks around in panic and calls out to Lucy. No less alarmed, Aloys asks for help. It seemed that at that moment, Lev's heart stopped for a moment. Aloys screams that Lucy needs to be taken away immediately. Levinas came closer and asked the girl to move away. He glared at her, telling her not to touch Lucy. Aloys whispers in tears that she is very sorry. But Lucy told Levinas that Aloys had done nothing wrong. She assures him that she is fine, so she asks him not to be so cruel. Levinas was very afraid that Lucy might be hurt. The girl apologizes for making him worry. Aloys' father approaches her with the intention of leaving before it gets any noisier. Lev said that it was a dangerous situation in which a person could die, and he is sure that Father Aloys has something to say before leaving. The situation is urgent, so he promises to thank Lucy next time. Lucy said that first, we need to sort out the situation. Levinas doesn't understand why he is always late. He always has this feeling that he can't protect Lucy, but no one could have expected something like this to happen. Lucy always showed up when Levinas needed her, but he couldn't protect her. Levinas reproaches himself because he should have been looking after her. Lucy is already reassured by the fact that Levinas is here. If she were alone, she would be very scared. She asked if she could get some sleep. At that moment, Levinas noticed how pale her face had become. Levinas began to shake her and ask her to wake up. Only now did he see that her side was wounded. The Lord promises to do everything possible to reveal the truth. He asks Mr. Schimmel to give him a little more time, but he said there was no need to go into the matter further. He reminds him that today's visit was unofficial. Crown Princess candidates are banned from public appearances, and Alois needs to be protected. Mr. Schimmel hopes there won't be a big fuss about this. If he thinks so, then they will no longer investigate this case. Schimmel asked who this girl was. The Lord said that this was Lucy, who was under the patronage of their estate. In such a critical situation, she saved Aloys. Schimmel decided that they should look after Lucy. He asks the Lord to send him a letter when the girl wakes up. The Lord thought that this was all quite troublesome. They must resolve this incident, but they cannot disobey the duchy's orders. Levinas arrived and asked to come into the room. He asks excitedly what happened to the criminal. Lord said it appeared there would be no further investigation. Levinas can't believe he's hearing this after Lucy almost died. The Lord reassures him because the girl's wound is not deep. Lucy risked her life to save another person. Levinas asks the Lord to leave them for a while. Leo realized that all the Duke cared about was his daughter's safety. Apparently, Aloys's parents are very protective of her. There are rumors that they even do this in the palace. Levinas cannot accept this. Suddenly, Lucy woke up and everything around narrowed down to just her. She asked Levinas how long he had been there. She apologized because he must have been very scared. Levinas said he couldn't do anything when she was wounded, although the girl repeats that it was an accident. The brooch they used to communicate with seemed to have broken, but Lev asks her not to worry and to sort it out later. Levinas says they won't be able to find the culprit, and the investigation is stopped. But the main thing for Lucy is that Aloys is okay. Now she can rest peacefully as she feels relieved. If Lucy is okay, Levinas can let it go for now, but he won't let something like this happen again. He will not allow any mistakes or errors. It takes enormous strength to defend oneself. Levinas promises Lucy to restore justice. His Majesty was informed that the mission had failed. He didn't even have time to explain himself before the Emperor immediately shut him up. The more they try to kill Levinas, the stronger he will become. Everything is exactly as the prophecy predicted. Lucy feels much better than yesterday. The wound was not that deep to begin with, but Lucy almost broke his mother's heart. Mom warns her not to even think about going outside. She was terrified by the thought that something bad could happen to Lucy. After that incident, the girl stays at home, following the advice to rest. She felt awkward because she made everyone worry. Lucy apologized to his mother, promising that it would not happen again. Mama hadn't heard anything about Levinas since the day he brought her home. Lucy thinks he's angry because she got hurt while following his plan, but Mom assumed he was just busy. Lucy hadn't really seen him since that day. This is the first time they have been apart for so long. Perhaps Leo is disappointed that Lucy acted thoughtlessly. It's even worse if he gets angry. Suddenly, Lucy heard a knock on the door. She immediately rushed to open it, thinking it was Leo, but Johann appeared on the threshold. Noticing that Lucy was already better, the girl asked him, embarrassed, what brought him here? Duke Schimmel wishes to express his gratitude by sending gifts. He insisted that he had to make amends to the victim. He said it was just a token of gratitude, and there was no need to feel obligated. Johann asks if they mind if he brings the presents into the house. Surprisingly, Lucy refused the gifts. She is sure that anyone in her situation would have done the same. And Lucy did what anyone in her place would have done. Her mother allows her to do as she wants. She respects her choice, so she also asks to return the gifts. Johann will ensure that the decision is properly communicated to the Duke. They will see each other again when Lucy is fully recovered. Lucy is glad she was able to send him back. There were too many gifts to express gratitude. Her mother can't believe she's grown up so much already. Her mother always told her that they should leave as much as they received. The woman likes that her daughter is so reasonable. Lucy won't have to worry about other things anymore. The Emperor told his mistress that Lucy had refused her gifts. This is truly a child of rare purity of their time. She doesn't like that Lucy decided to ruin her plans so easily. She asks Orleans to send a letter to Rodanthe. She would personally like to meet the one who saved her daughter. Lucy's mother asks her to take a rest because there are not many customers today. Lucy says she feels great after the wound healed. Then, her mother invites her to meet Levinas. She asks her to go and not to worry about her. She knows that Lucy misses Levinas, so Lucy decides to quickly check on him. The girl ran away without even looking back. Chelsea's daughter got hurt, and she's just having to let it go. Suddenly, hearing the door open, she thought that Lucy had forgotten something, but what she saw in the doorway was not her at all. It turned out to be Friedrich, whom Chelsea asked how he ended up there. Friedrich spoke about the letters he had sent, but had not received a response. Chelsea had become bolder in her expressions, he noticed. Chelsea asks him to tell her what he needs. The man asked where his niece was. Chelsea asks why he suddenly wants her daughter. Friedrich asks her not to worry, because he is here to help. He asked Chelsea if she liked making ends meet. Chelsea tells him to get lost if he came here to talk this nonsense. She knows he's not the type of person to do things just for the sake of it. Chelsea threatens him that he will not lay a finger on her daughter. Friedrich doesn't like the way she treats him. But, be that as it may, today he decides to leave. But next time, no matter what, he wants to see his niece. Chelsea must hide Lucy no matter what. Meanwhile, Lucy tries to get through to Levinas. She knocked more than 10 times already. Maybe he doesn't want to see her since he never visited her. Lucy tries to call him again. Whether Levinas wants it or not, she still goes inside. There was no one on the first floor. Having searched the entire first floor, Lucy did not find him. Now all that's left to check is the second floor. Lucy remembers that Levinas doesn't like it when she goes up there, but now, since he didn't come down himself, she has no choice. She heard some sounds, thinking it was Levinas. Suddenly, Delmar falls into her arms. He asks Lucy where his brother is. Lucy didn't even know that Levinas had a brother. She thinks that they are completely different. Lucy said that she was also waiting for him and invited Delmar to go downstairs. Levinas did not often talk about himself. He only listened. Who would have thought that he had a younger brother? Lucy guesses that Delmar really likes Levinas. Delmar came such a long way to see him. Delmar admits that his brother is very kind. Levinas used to read him books until he fell asleep. And that's why Delmar came, because he can't sleep. Lucy was convinced that this little one really liked Leo, and she is sad that Delmar cannot sleep normally. She knows that she cannot read books to him like Levinas, but instead, she hands the boy a candy. It includes herbs that will help improve sleep. Lucy promises that this medicine is safe. Delmar needs to trust her. She guarantees that it will work. Delmar nevertheless agreed and put the candy in his mouth. Obviously, he won't feel sleepy right away. Lucy asks him to close his eyes and lie down to achieve the effect. He hopes that Lucy won't leave while he's sleeping. She promises him that she will stay here. Delmar must be very tired lately. Lucy is puzzled why Levinas hid such a charming little brother. It is difficult for her to be on her feet for a long time. She decided to close her eyes for a while until Leo returned. Lev finished making a brooch with tracking and recording functions. Radanos asked him if this was too ominous. Levins became alarmed when he asked him how long he had been there. In fact, he just arrived. They haven't seen each other for a long time, and Radan asks how he found the festival. Levinas seemed ashamed. He said that it was terrible. He thinks that Lady Schimmel might be the one who recognized him. Because she was in disguise, Lev thought she had been ordered to watch him, but Radan doubts they would have gone that far. Most likely, this disguise was connected with her status. Levinas is not yet aware that she is a candidate for Crown Princess. Therefore, Radan tells him that Her Majesty is looking for a bride for Delmar. The situation in the yard seems unstable. If something happens to the Emperor, it will be a great opportunity for Levinas. It seems that Levinas has already forgotten why Radan is here. Radan's task is to check whether Levinas's position towards the Emperor has changed. But in doing so, he would expose Levinas's intentions. Levinas began to think about what to do, but suddenly, they both notice something behind the door. Radan asks Levinas to go check it himself. For today's report, what Radan heard directly will be enough. There is no point in proving who sat in his room for a week. Levinas can't believe he hasn't visited Lucy for a whole week, but instead of a girl, he sees his brother. Delmar just wanted to check on Levinas, and he said that something else had come to visit Levinas. All of Levinas's worst expectations came true. He asks his brother why the owl came here. He made it clear to him that he should not appear here again. In the morning, Diana noticed that her son was nowhere to be found. The maids tell in horror how suddenly he disappeared. Diana gets angry, asking what they have been doing all this time. But now, she sets out to find Delmar. She can only guess what the Emperor will say if he finds out about this. Seeing Radanam, Diana thinks that he might know everything, so she asked him to help her find Delmar. Radan immediately thought that Delmar might be with Levinas. He's not sure about it, but he has some thoughts. Levinas asks Delmar to answer why he ignored his words. He told him not to come here anymore. Delmar asks for forgiveness, promising that he will not disobey him again. He couldn't sleep and remembered the time they spent together. He only hoped that meeting his brother would rid him of this feeling. Therefore, Delmar secretly used Radanoma's magic circle. He knew Levinas would not approve, but he wanted to see him. He is lonely without him in the palace. He wants his brother to come back. Delmar believes that Levinas has no reason to be here. He still didn't understand anything Levinas said. The Emperor's intentions are unclear, and it is surprising that Levinas did not lose his head. Delmar thinks it's all about his sister. The fact that Leo became attached to this place was because of Lucy, but Levinas asks him not to mention it. Lucy could be in danger if rumors about her leak into the palace. We need to send Delmar back quickly, but it was already too late because Diana arrived. She asks in horror what Levinas is doing with her child. Diana is sure that it was Levinas who invited him here, but Leo explained that His Highness the Prince had come here himself. The boy swears he didn't do anything. Delmar confirms this, that Levinas did nothing wrong. It was his initiative, and he came here without any ulterior motive. Apparently, Delmar is allowed to walk alone outside the palace. This is very unfair to the candidate for Crown Princess. Diana didn't expect Levinas to know this, and Delmar, who is not yet in the know, asks for an explanation. It's a shame this information was kept from the main participant. Levinas asks why Diana is in such a hurry to marry Delmar. Diana denied that the royal family has problems. She explained that it was entirely her decision. Delmar doesn't understand why they made the decision without his knowledge, but Diana screams that she put a lot of effort into protecting him. It's hard to believe that they ignore the imprisoned prince while spending money on searching for a bride. Levinas is ready to hand over the prince if they stop spying on him. He uses Delmar as a hostage to disobey the royal family's orders, but Lavina will do this to protect herself. From that moment on, the entire royal family was forbidden to approach Levinas. Levinas always found this strange. The emperor never killed him, although there was an opportunity. Maybe it was because he just couldn't do it. If the emperor is looking for him, Levinas will gladly come to him. But today, they see each other for the last time. When Lucy woke up, Leo asked how long she had been waiting for him. She didn't expect to fall asleep for long. Lucy asked if his little brother was okay. She hopes that they finally saw each other. Lev replied distantly that Delmar would not return. Lucy was surprised to see his brother. She noticed that something was wrong and asked if Leo was okay. They are not that close, and now Lucy realized that she knows nothing about him at all. She suddenly had a strange feeling that they were strangers. But Lucy hopes that they are still friends. Levinas asks her to extend her hand for a second. He fixed that broken brooch and improved it. The boy promises Lucy that he will never leave her. Hearing this, Lucy hugged him back tightly. She understands that she worried in vain. Lucy doesn't know that this brooch now transmits her location. It also allows you to hear your surroundings. Levinas promises her that he will never lose her. He whispers that they will be together forever. From that day on, everything returned to normal. Leo no longer made Lucy wait, and they talked a lot again. Lucy feels like she's been eating a lot of sweets lately, but she thinks the problem is that she's become complacent. Suddenly, someone asked her what she was looking at in the mirror. It turned out to be Johan, who had come to visit her. It was so quiet here that he was already getting bored. He asks Lucy not to apologize, as she was ill. He has something to convey to the heroine. It turned out to be an invitation from the Schimmel house. They said she could take anyone she wanted with her. Johan added that even her mother is not against it. She said she would leave the decision to her daughter. Lucy couldn't believe it, so she decided to go and find out herself. Chelsea says it might be better to show them. Lucy was sure that her mother would not allow her, but Chelsea knows Lucy has a good grip. Lucy will be picked up tomorrow, and Chelsea will help her get ready now. But Dahlia asked if Chelsea wanted to tell Lucy something. Chelsea interrupted her, saying that this conversation was over. Lucy's mother tells her to ask Levinas to keep her company. Lucy was a little confused, not understanding what had happened. Now she's not sure she should really go. Levinas noticed that Lucy was acting a bit strange today. Lucy shared her concern that she felt like her mother had a fight with Dahlia because of her. When she said that she was invited to Schimmel's house, Lev turned pale. Lucy felt uneasy, but her mother convinced her that she needed to go, although she doesn't understand why this bothers Dahlia so much. They stopped the investigation, but for some reason, they still want to see Lucy. For aristocrats, commoners mean nothing, but they show generosity twice. It is obvious that they have hidden intentions. Lucy asked Lev if he was listening to her. She asked him to go with her to the Duke's house. Levinas agrees without any problem. This time, Levinas will always be there. There was no way he was going to let Lucy be in danger. After this, Lucy leaves, saying goodbye to Levinas. The Schimmel family is one of those who survived, even during the purges organized by the emperor. Surviving under the rule of an emperor who mercilessly exterminates aristocrats is difficult. So this is clearly not just devotion. They know what decisions to make to maintain their position. Such a perceptive duke would hardly have invited Lucy just like that. But whatever he plans, Levinas will not let him touch her. Someone knocked on the door, and Lev went to open it. The man apologizes for being so late. To Lev's surprise, it turned out to be Lucy's mother. She said she wanted to know more about Levinas's background. She guesses that he is not really from here. There is no point in him pretending, because Chelsea has worked for noble families for a long time. She doesn't know his circumstances. He hides his identity. Levinas asked why she was interested in this now. If he is a child of a noble family, he should know the family trees. When she asked about Lawrence Menelik, it turned out that Lev knew him. Chelsea said that Lucy has Menelik blood in her. Lawrence was the eldest son, but was born weak. They fell in love with each other and decided to leave home as soon as Lucy was born. But the Meneliks thought that Lawrence would one day return and set his sights on their family's power. That's why they took action before he left. Due to his weak constitution, he died as soon as they arrived in the village. Chelsea's husband became a victim of his own family's greed. And now, these people are hunting her daughter, but her strength alone will not be enough to cope with this. So Chelsea asks Lev to use his family's power to help. She allows him to marry Lucy, or take her as his servant. Lucy's mother doesn't know that Levinas is a member of the imperial family. Levinas cannot reveal the details, but his position is only an appearance. Chelsea believes he has his reasons. She promises that she will not tell anyone about his origin. Chelsea asks Levinas to always stay close to Lucy. He suddenly had a bad feeling about something. The next day, Lucy arrived at the Schimmel family castle. The maids thank her for coming so far. Lucy really didn't expect the castle to be so huge. One of the maids will be preparing her for the dinner party. The knight noted that she was indeed receiving special attention. He also noticed that Levinas looked gloomy, but Leo is glad that Franz is accompanying them. And Franz thought that it was because someone recognized Lev. It wouldn't be surprising if someone found out about him in a place like this. Franz already knows that Levinas is not an easy guy. It seems that Levinas has really been in this village for too long. Franz wants to know who he is, but Leo decides that he shouldn't be interested in such things. He still has a reason to stay in this village. Franz can't believe that this is such a big secret. Lucy told Miss Louise that the dress seemed too revealing. She also asked about the rules of etiquette, but Louise says that His Grace is not one to blame her for anything. At the same time, Louise asks to be more careful with Her Grace. Her Grace is very interested in Lucy. If Lucy had known that everything would turn out this way, she would have accepted those gifts. She feels uncomfortable with hospitality alone. Levinas enters the room, asking if she has finished preparing. He complimented her that the dress suited her very well, and Lucy suddenly felt her heart beat fast. Lucy sees Lev almost every day, but this is the first time she has experienced this. He's like a prince who escaped from a fairy tale. Levinas did not want to take off his glasses, but he was told that it was etiquette to do so. But Lucy tells him that he doesn't look any worse. It's not often that she gets the chance to see Lucy like this. He feels awkward, but if Lucy is happy, then so is he. Lucy wants everyone to hear that her childhood friend is handsome. Although, if you say this out loud, a lot of problems will arise. Dinner is about to start. Levinas wants to accompany Lucy. Lucy heard that her ladyship would be late. If any situation arises, Leo will do everything to prevent it. But such things don't bother Lucy at all. She showed Levinas that she had also prepared something. The Duke thanks Lucy for coming. Lucy also thanks him for the invitation. Alos introduces himself to Lucy, thanking her for that day. Lucy can't believe it was really Alos. She asked Levinas if they had met before. Her father reminds her that he was there for Lucy back then, but Leo replied that she probably mistook him for someone else. Alos asked for forgiveness because he really did seem familiar to her. Everyone must be hungry, so they start eating. Leo seems upset about what happened. He usually doesn't avoid others, but now he's wary. His lordship decided to ask why Lucy refused the gifts. As Lucy said then, she did what she had to. Lucy wonders how the attacker knew he was attacking Alos. Her ladyship joined them, noting Lucy's observation. It's certainly fitting for someone who saved her daughter. The Duchess apologizes for being late, asking them not to be distracted. She suggests addressing any questions that may have arisen. Her ladyship turned out to be friendlier than Lucy had imagined. In their place, Lucy would want to catch the criminal. The Duchess admits that they are conducting a secret investigation, but Lucy remembers that it was suspended. The Duchess did find something strange after her investigation. She suddenly asked Lucy how she saved Alos. Such a young girl was able to track the killer's movements. As a mother, she couldn't rule out any detail. She thinks Lucy planned the murder from the start. Lucy can't believe she came to that conclusion. Even Alos and the Duke looked stunned. Lucy has a feeling that the Duchess is behaving strangely for a reason. Leo counters that Lucy was simply being brave, but the Duchess wants them to assist in the investigation because she feels it is necessary to study them both. Who would have known that the hospitality of the Schimmel house would turn out to be so terrible? Aloys was confused when she noticed something. It turns out that there were red spots left on Lucy's hand. Franz thought it was all because of the food. Lucy is confident that she will get better if she rests. Levinas wants them to leave because there is no longer any point in staying here. He is sure that the Duchess is asking them for this. Levinas believes they showed her more respect as guests. Lev is worried that Lucy won't have enough of the medicines she took with her. Lucy feels ashamed that she put her friend in an awkward position. She asked how long he was going to kneel like that. Levinas is angered by the way the Duchess treated the guests, but Lucy insists it was just a misunderstanding. Leo decided that she had deliberately provoked an allergic reaction. Before dinner, Lucy applied oak moss extract to herself. Lucy has both the extract and the antidote with her, and the irritation appeared just in time. Lucy apologizes because she should have told him about it beforehand. Levinas asked why she didn't use it, whether it was on purpose or not. The sight of her wounds causes Lev pain. Levinas would very much like for Lucy not to do such things again. Lucy thought that it would be advantageous to end the discussion with the Duchess in this way, but it all ended with her hurting Levinas's feelings. Suddenly, Levinas remembered that he still had 2 wishes left. He makes a wish that Lucy will never hurt herself again. She seemed to upset him by not discussing it with him. First of all, Lucy is to blame for doing this. So, Levinas still has 2 desires. Leo asks her to promise that from now on, she will turn to him for help. Lucy remembers that they left poor Franz there. Franz had to shoot back for both of them. He is glad that he could help the Duchess. Since it is already late, they finish their meal. Later, the Duke told the Duchess that she had been too rude today. They should stop being suspicious of rescuers and focus on finding the criminal. They should be careful that this does not lead to the disclosure of Aloys's identity. But suddenly, the Duchess declared that she already knew who did it, all because she was the one who stopped the investigation. She wanted to spread rumors that people were hunting for the life of the Crown Princess candidate. The Duchess intended to use this as a pretext for the imperial family. Aloys wanted to be removed from the list, and the Duchess simply granted her wish. All this time, Aloys stood behind the door and heard their conversation. The father asked how their daughter would cope with what had happened. The girl can't believe that her mother tried to kill her. She said it was for the good of the world to help Aloys. But now Aloys is confused and doesn't know what to do. Night has already fallen, but Lucy still can't fall asleep. She is worried about the conversation with Lev and the hostile attitude of the Duchess. For some reason, Lucy felt overwhelmed by a ton of reasons to worry. Suddenly, someone knocked on her door and asked her to come in. To Lucy's surprise, it turned out to be Aloys. Lucy came to her mind. so she decided to take a look. Lucy sits down and asks for a minute. First, Aloys apologizes for her mother's behavior, but Lucy understands her Grace's position. Still, the beloved and only daughter could have suffered, but Lucy has a right to be angry because they tried to blame her. That's why Aloys apologizes, because it was a burden to her. But Aloys has no need to take her side. Lucy thanked her and felt much calmer. Aloys decided to inquire about Lucy's hand. Lucy says that studying medicine wasn't all that difficult. She shared that she started studying it thanks to her friend. Aloys asked which house Levinas was an illegitimate child of. Even though Lev said that Aloys was mistaken, she is sure that he was lying. He is definitely a child from a distinguished family. Aloys asked Lucy if she really didn't know anything. Lucy began to wonder if Leo had really moved to the village unexpectedly. Lucy seems like a nice girl to Aloys. She asks Lucy not to trust anyone who is too frank with her, but Lucy is confident that Levinas will tell her everything when the time comes. Aloys can't believe he's hiding everything from his close friend. Even if that is true, Lucy thinks there are reasons for it. After spending time with him, Lucy can say that he takes care of her, so Lucy is going to trust him and wait. Aloys asked if she was disappointed by this, but that's how much Lucy trusts Lev. Aloys can't believe she can trust someone to that extent. She asked, what if someone you trusted did something you couldn't believe? If there comes a time when this person causes pain, Lucy doesn't think Aloys is talking about Levinas now. Lucy would not regret the decision she made in the past. Then Aloys asked who she should trust. They must be for themselves, because they will never betray themselves. Aloys thinks about how strong Lucy is. She thanks her because now her thoughts are in order. Aloys asks that you contact her if you ever need help. She swore on her name that she would help. Lucy wondered if she would need her help. The next day, the Duchess asked if she had slept comfortably, and Lucy realized that now was the time to ask for help. The Duchess made cheesecake, hoping Lucy wasn't allergic to it. Today, they can chat without any worries. Half an hour ago, Lucy was informed that the Duchess had invited her to tea. Lucy wished she and Aloys could go there together, but it seems that the Duchess is inviting her to resume yesterday's conversation. The maid told that Franz and Levinas had gone hunting, so Lucy asked the maid to take her there. The Duchess asked if she had cured her allergies from yesterday. The rash wasn't that bad, so everything healed quickly. When things turn out this way with the guests, the Duchess becomes upset. Aloys was late, but the Duchess wanted to talk alone. The Duchess apologizes for being so irritable yesterday. She admits that she is now walking on a knife edge. The situation in the imperial family is not the best at the moment. The Duchess noticed that everything was definitely not as it had been before. She doesn't want to guess what the imperial family's intentions are. She thinks that something like a big chance has happened. This world is no longer a place that exists after the main story. But if Aloys hasn't met the main character yet, then maybe the plot hasn't begun yet. Lucy guessed that there was some other force involved. The Duchess asks what comes to mind. Lucy said it could be someone like a magician behind the scenes. But the Duchess knows that the magicians were exterminated. They say that magicians do not exist, although the magician is an important character in the plot. Perhaps His Majesty could have spared one magician. The Duchess thanks Lucy for the interesting conversation. She didn't seem to say that Aloys would join them. Lucy certainly didn't expect this. The Duchess asked if Lucy had said she had lived in the country all her life. Lucy's face just seems very familiar to her. While hunting, Levinas suggests that Franz look for another place. They think His Majesty is acting strangely. It was obviously the Duchess who asked him to go with them. Having found another deer, Franz gives Levinas an opportunity. Franz asked Levinas if he thought things were dragging on regarding Lucy. He sees that Leo is only pretending not to know anything. Franz thinks that he should at least tell Lucy, since she is his friend. After all, in the end, she might just run away. The lion shoots but misses the deer, which runs away. As Franz told him, he was taking too long. The moment has finally come when they go home. The conversation with the Duchess drained all the strength out of Lucy. This visit can be considered a success, although Lucy is worried about the Duchess's last words. There's no way her face looks familiar. Perhaps the Duchess crossed paths with her father. Franz noticed a glow standing in the direction of the village. He was horrified when he realized it was a fire. He asked the driver to drive faster. It turned out that Lucy's house was on fire. It was either an accident or someone did it on purpose. Dahlia asks Lucy to leave because it is dangerous there. Lucy asks if her mother was at work today. It turns out she was unwell and planned to stay home. Lucy became alarmed and ran to the house to get her mother out. However, Levinas stopped her because if she went there, she would also suffer. Lucy can't just stand there knowing her mom is inside. The fire was so strong that the house had already begun to collapse. The lion grabbed Lucy and began to run away from the house. That's why Levinas said it was dangerous there. Lucy is lost and doesn't know what to do now. She knows that Chelsea is not her real mother, but she was able to adapt and settle in this unfamiliar world. She once asked Chelsea what she would do if she said she wanted to live in the capital. Chelsea remembers Lucy telling her before that she would always be here, but she she is confident that Lucy will cope with everything, wherever she is. But wherever she is, let her not forget that she has a mother. Her tender love was undoubtedly genuine. Lucy never wanted to leave because this is her home. The rest of the villagers were horrified by what happened. When the house turns to ashes, it will be impossible to even tell whose it was. 3 days have passed. Lucy started eating poorly. She had no appetite and asked Lev to leave some food. She is fine, so she asks Lev to rest. He leaves the soup here, and if it gets cold, Lucy can call him. As soon as Lucy was alone, she began to cry again, thinking about her mother. Levinas is confident that this fire was not accidental. Who knew that the plan would turn out to be so desperate? It's obvious that once Chelsea disappears, the Menelik's won't be able to find Lucy. There is no more effective way than this. But now, Lucy is suffering. Levinas does not understand why mothers are so heartless. If they are going to disappear forever, then they should never have existed. Levinas had an idea and was sure there was a way. Entering the room, he asks Radonam to appear. They haven't seen each other for a long time. Lev knows that Radonam's abilities are not limited to prophecy alone. Radan will fulfill any wish, and not for free. And now he asked to say what Levinas wants. He said he wanted to erase Chelsea's existence from the memories of the inhabitants of Rodanthe and Lucy. We need to erase the memories of the fire and Chelsea. Lucy is suffering too much, and she can't cope at this rate. This incident was still originally planned by Miss Chelsea, so it would be better if everyone forgot about her. Radanos believes it would be better to make it appear as if she never existed. It is unknown how long the Meneliks will search for Lucy. It is better not to do anything that might attract the attention of the imperial family. Then Radan offers Levinas a contract. He doesn't need to explain what the price will be. Leo remembers that Radan will take something dear to him, but it will not be Lucy, but something that is part of him. Levinas gives Radan the order to begin. He can take everything that belongs to Leo, as long as it is not Lucy. Suddenly, in the process, Leo noticed that Lucy's hair began to change. This is a side effect of magic, and it is not dangerous. Radan just takes something in return. It doesn't matter whether it's gold or jewelry. Levinas doesn't mind losing something of his own, but he still hopes that it is not his culinary skills. Radan took something completely insignificant in return, and Lev will soon find out. After this ritual, Radan leaves. In the morning, Lucy woke up as if nothing had happened. She suddenly feels as if she has been sleeping for a very long time. Finally, Levinas came into the room. She asked Lev why he brought food to her room. He said he wanted to bring it while the food was hot. Lucy thought she might have made him worry about her deep sleep. She said that day they went to Schimmel Castle. Then she woke up and saw that Lev was no longer at home. Lucy feels sorry for Levinas for many things. Now she thinks that she has been living with him for several months, and it is her duty. In her head, her house collapsed because of the rain because it was old. Lucy promises to find a place to live, but Levinas allows her to stay as long as she wants, because he is happy with the way things are now. Lucy was embarrassed and thanked him for such an owl. Lucy can't believe that Levinas has such a kind heart. She has no family or friends, but he is always so caring about her. It would be very difficult for her to live without him. However, Lucy needs to find a way to live on her own. She didn't notice that her hair had changed color. As long as Lucy doesn't remember anything, there are no problems. Thus, several months pass. Dahlia thanks Lucy for her hard work. Dahlia can't figure out why there's so much to do lately. She asked Lucy if she was okay. Lucy says she plans to leave Lev because she has been a burden to him for too long. Dahlia hadn't seen him for a long time and asked how he was doing. She wants to see this good child. Dietrich is returning to the capital soon. They are planning a party. The party will be held at their home. From the moment Lucy's memories began to blur, her life became calmer. Besides the fact that Leo has been coming home late lately, he doesn't even tell us what he does. Lucy thinks Levinas has changed a little. Just recently, Levinas pushed Vincent. He said that Vincent should watch his language. Leo knows that Vincent is spreading rumors that Lucy is cursed, so he threatened to cut out his tongue if he said anything about Lucy again. Lucy had never seen Leo speak so aggressively before. Something definitely happened, but she can't remember what. Suddenly, she felt dizzy, and Leo immediately caught her. He just came to pick her up. He noticed that she had been falling a lot lately. Lucy thinks she's just tripping over herself, and it started when her childhood friend began to feel so unfamiliar. The party Dahlia had spoken of soon took place. Dietrich told Vincent that if he thought working was fun, he should go and do the work himself. They asked the professor to give them another semester of leave. Dietrich must not really want to go. Lucy feels like she's been in such a noisy atmosphere for the first time in a long time. It looks like they are having a good time. She wonders what Levinas is thinking about now. He noticed her looking at him and asked what was on his face. He thinks the cherry juice has fermented a little because Lucy's face suddenly turned red. Levinas suggests going outside and getting some fresh air. There, Lucy already felt much better. Lucy thinks she's gotten very drunk. She tells Lev that she needs to apologize to him. Lately, he had become like a stranger in her eyes. He comes home and doesn't tell where he was. Lucy is sure she's missing something, but she has no idea what it is. Lucy felt ashamed when she said she doubted him, feelings of distance for no reason, and all this makes her anxious. But Levinas assures her that she doesn't need to worry because nothing has changed. He comes late because the library is far away, and he was angry at Vincent because he insulted her. Leo kisses Lucy on the forehead, telling her that he will always be with her. Obviously, this makes her blush. He asks her to remember the necklace if she feels uneasy about him. He heard that it was made by a passerby on a crocus flower. This flower signifies the joy of trust, and Levinas's feelings for Lucy are still the same as they were. Lucy should not doubt the sincerity of his feelings, and Lucy knows Levinas better than anyone. Now Lucy began to feel much better. She returned home, but Levinas was nowhere to be found. She thought she was getting better until Leo left her. Radon asked Levinas if he was okay. He thinks it's better to call him Crown Prince of the Vladan Empire, Aurelio Levinas Hadassah. At the Imperial Palace, Her Majesty is asked to make a decision. They cannot turn a blind eye to Levinas's antics. They ask Diana if she has forgotten why they sent Levinas on the expedition. They were sure that he would return as a corpse, but that was not the case. It seems no one expected Levinas to return so quickly. Diana can't believe he returned from the hike so early. He arrived victorious over Duke Peter, as ordered. He was asked if he had destroyed any obscene fortresses. Diana orders everyone to remain silent. She told Levinas that he had served well. He will receive a reward later, but now he can leave. All these years, Levinas served the empire. He always went to the front instead of the emperor and the prince. But in this battle, Levinas was wounded in the shoulder. For a while, he wants to rest and improve his health in a special palace. He doesn't seem to understand what kind of position he's asking for. This is the residence where the future empress will enter. But the second prince broke off the engagement long ago. Lev did not refuse to go on campaigns for 3 years, but he was given only a tiny office. Levinas asks to have pity on him and show mercy. Radan congratulates His Highness on the fact that he can rest. It's too loud to hear Radan thinking about how to get rid of Levinas. He asked if it was true that the Emperor's illness was getting better, but this is not the business of Radanam's power. In just a few years, the bastard was able to establish himself in the palace. Leo asked Duchess Schimmel to give him people, and in exchange, he would dissolve his marriage with the imperial family. Levinas says Vladin's story will soon change. The madness of the ill emperor, the rebellion of the allied principalities. The weak empress cannot resist all this. Levinas asked to go to the front instead of the second prince. Without that agreement, Radan would never have seen such a picture. He asked why Leo went to the special palace. Levinas needs to meet someone, and he has been waiting for this moment for several years. Now he will never be separated from her. Then Radan leaves him and goes away. Finally, there was at least a little silence. It looks like the wound hasn't completely healed yet. Levinas was in a hurry to return and overworked himself. 5 years is too long to spend alone. But Levinas knows that everything is as it should be. He knows that he will meet Lucy soon. Someone came to visit Lucy at such an early hour. She suddenly thought that it might be Leo. She has so many questions she would like to ask him, but when he opened the doors, it was not he at all who was outside. It turned out to be Lady Aloys. She asked Lucy how she had been doing lately. During the day, Lucy works in a pharmacy. At night, she spends her time researching new drugs. She hardly goes outside because of her hobby. Aloys is just having a hard time watching all this. She asked how many years had passed since Lucy had been waiting for Levi. Since that day, he never returned. His room is empty. There are no things left. Aloys's mother said that there never was a boy with that name. Even the power of the ducal house did not help find traces. Lucy understands everything perfectly. But Aloys also saw the letter. It seemed like he had disappeared forever. But recently, a letter arrived. It was his handwriting, an apology for not being able to say goodbye. It is impossible to reply to the letter because it is unknown where it came from, but Aloys came here because she wants to ask for one thing. She asked Lucy if she would go with her to the capital. Aloys's mother asked her for an errand. There will be an auction at court soon, and I need to buy something there. Formally, the auction is a test of fidelity. You need to buy the item at a price that neither overcharges nor appears low. Aloys is counting on Lucy because she has a good eye. After all, that was the case on the day Lucy saved her. Lucy avoided the capital to avoid being drawn into the plot. But suddenly, as Aloys said, it was there that they would meet Levi. Lucy finally agreed to go with Aloys. Aloys promises to repay her, although Lucy refuses. Lucy shouldn't have given in to persuasion so easily. Aloys is confident that her thoughts will change in the capital. They looked at the palace, which was built so high that the inhabitants of the empire could look down from above. If she's lucky, maybe Lucy will meet Levinas. There seems to be some unrest in the palace lately. They say that the emperor has been unwell for several years, and recently, a man has appeared who calls himself the First Prince. There are now 2 camps in the palace, those of the first and second prince. The eldest son grew up in the cold of the palace and began to feel envy towards his younger brother. And for the sake of a political union, he married the main character of the novel. But, seeing her, who looked so much like his mother, he killed her. Remembering this, Lucy asks Aloys to turn the carriage around. If Aloys catches the prince's eye during the auction, that's the end. Levinas learned that Lucy had arrived in the capital. He thinks she will be pleased to see him, as she is used to seeing him. As expected, the capital turned out to be on a completely different level. Lucy thought the Lord's castle looked luxurious, but it didn't compare to this. Lucy has a little time until Aloys returns from the bank. Lucy wondered what Lady Aloys had met earlier. Lucy then thought that they would never return to the village. If they are inattentive, that tragic romance will begin. Lucy decided to ask Aloys if she had met the first prince before. As it turned out, they almost saw each other when there was talk of Aloys's wedding with the second prince. Lucy seemed to be too surprised by this news. It's not really news, and besides, it's all over now. From that moment on, the imperial family fell into chaos. When the emperor fell ill, they wanted to make the second prince emperor. This would have happened if a strategic marriage had been concluded with Aloys. But the first prince returned and began to gather supporters. In the original story, the heroine married the first prince because he was the main character. Now the story looks like the first prince wants what the second prince didn't get. This is the kind of behavior worthy of a tyrant hero. But Lucy will be by Aloys' side and will not let the original story begin. Suddenly, a voice is heard behind Lucy. Someone touched her shoulders. She turned around in fear, meeting the stranger's gaze. Levinas asks her if everything is okay, and Lucy can't seem to believe what she sees. Many years have passed since they last saw each other. Lucy thinks this is all a dream. He said he didn't expect to see her here, and Lucy thinks that she should be the one saying that. She asked how long he had been there, because he hadn't said anything. All the furniture was gone, Lucy asked everyone, but no one knew where he was. Lucy burst into tears, asking if he understood how worried she was. Levinas asks Lucy for forgiveness for leaving without a word, but he admits that he missed her too. He is sure that she is very disappointed in him, but Levinas asks her to understand that he missed her terribly. So Lucy admitted that she missed him too, and now it seems to her that she worried in vain. The man who was taking care of Levi suddenly fell ill, and he helped him with his work. This is the owner of the store where Levinas used to live. Lucy shared that she still lives in that house. Now Lucy understands that Levinas clearly had a patron. Lucy had never asked about such things before, and Lev had never told her, but she still feels sad that they broke up then, and she never found out anything about him. Lucy is afraid that they will be separated again, and she will not know why. But Levinas reassures her that from now on, they will always be together. The girl seems to find it hard to believe these words, but Levinas, embracing her, promises that they will be together. Lucy wants to know more about Levinas. She wants to know what he was doing all this time and what he was thinking about, but she will still wait until he tells it himself. She invites Levinas to take a short walk. Lucy didn't think that the capital had such a beautiful park. It reminds her of the landscape, like in their native land. Lucy says that everything is as before. The Lord feels well. She also shared that she now works as a pharmacist in the village. Levinas remembers that she previously studied pharmacology. Lucy asked if he knew why she wanted to become one, all because she wanted to be useful to him. She wanted to make the same medicine as the one Lev drank as a child. Levinas realized that this was the medicine that was being passed on to him through radonoma. It was a strange medicine that people were asked not to take regularly. Looking back, it looked like symptoms of addiction. Lucy asks him to tell her more about her symptoms. There are certain medications that work well for each symptom. First of all, Levinas has a fever and a cough. He gets tired easily and is sometimes accompanied by headaches. And there are also moments when his heart starts beating faster. Lucy will try to make a medicine that will help with such symptoms. Levinas thanked her. He would rely on her. The way Lucy worries about Levinas pleases him quite a bit. Lucy said that she came here with Aloys, who is going to participate in the auction. It turns out that Lev will also be participating. He was asked about it by that same trustee. It seems the family Levi is associated with is quite influential. Lucy asked if they could meet again. She hopes that she can find out more about him. Levinas had already told her that they would be together from now on. He left a gentle kiss on Lucy's wrist. Of course, this confused her greatly. This time, Levinas will be waiting for her. His long stay in the capital changed his character. Levinas was clearly more modest in the past. It seems this is no longer the Levi Lucy knew. The day of the auction finally arrived. Lucy feels like she's not cut out for such an event, but Aloys asks her to be confident in herself. Lucy can't get used to this. She was distracted for a moment, and Aloys was already gone. Lucy looks around frantically, searching for her. At that moment, she accidentally bumped into someone. She has been very confused lately. The person she bumped into looked familiar. He asked Lucy if they could have seen each other before. Lucy assumed that he had confused her with someone else. She had never seen such a dazzling blonde in her life. He began to list where he could have seen her, but it was all not it. He doesn't even believe that this is really her first time in the capital. But Lucy also feels like she's seen him somewhere. Finally, he remembered that she was that same little sister. He said she was at his brother's house. Lucy finally recognized the man as Delmar. She remembers helping him fall asleep. Delmar still remembers the very same lollipop that helped him fall asleep. Lucy was sorry that she didn't have time to say goodbye then. She noticed that Delmar had indeed grown. From his clothes, it is clear that he is not just a nobleman. Delmar is glad that he was not mistaken. Suddenly, he noticed that Lucy had a different hair color. Lucy doesn't understand what he's talking about, because that's her real color. But Delmar said her hair was red. At that moment, Lucy had a severe headache. She began to hear some voice in her head. Levinas's face looked sad in his memories. She heard him say that she was suffering and did not understand why. It all happened too quickly. Lucy's hair turned red again. She didn't understand how this could have happened at all, and Lucy did not understand what kind of vision she saw. Suddenly, Levinas appears and closes her eyes. He asks her not to worry, saying that it is him. The ceremony is about to begin, and Levinas will escort Lucy out. Delmar asks his brother what just happened. Levinas asks him not to ask about anything. Lucy is trying to understand what just happened. Lucy hopes to talk to Delmar another time. Delmar is absolutely certain it was magic. He is interested in what Levinas is hiding. Now Lucy wants to ask Levinas something. She wants to understand what all this was. She asked if he knew it was a different hair color. Lucy asks what has happened to her during all this time. When her hair color returned, Lucy was reminded of a house on fire. Lucy asks Levinas to tell her what happened to her. Levinas expected Lucy to be confused. He says that in that house, Lucy collected rare herbs, and everything she liked was there. Levinas couldn't even imagine what a blow it was for Lucy when the house burned down. He lied that her hair had turned white from shock. Levinas knows that this is hard to believe. It's hard to believe that all this happened just because of memory loss. But what is clear is that this was something abnormal. Lucy hugs Levi and asks him to trust her. Lucy wants to know everything, no matter what. She doesn't want Levinas to look that sad again. Suddenly, Levinas hugs her back tightly. He apologizes for hiding it. He was afraid to tell the truth, thinking that Lucy would turn away from him. Levinas is also glad that her true color has returned, because it suits her. It's just what he wanted to say. Levinas likes this familiar image. Now Lucy understood why Delmar had been so surprised. Levinas remembers that Lucy was supposed to have her memory erased. He can't believe that Raiden dared to ruin everything. This is why you shouldn't have trusted him. Lucy thanked Levi for keeping his promise. Then he said that they would see each other again. And yes, they really met after so many years. Lucy asked if the man they met was his brother. From his clothes and manner of speech, it was clear that he was noble. But Lucy is interested in learning, not about him, but about Levinas. She suddenly realized that she knew almost nothing about him. Lucy always waited for him to tell her himself, but deep down, she was afraid that if she knew too much, Levinas would disappear. But the stronger her feelings become, the harder it is to contain her curiosity. Lucy thought that Levi was not as ordinary as she was. That's why she wants to know who he is, and how Levinas lived all this time. Just as Levinas was about to tell the truth, he heard that there had been an attack. The auction is cancelled. The remnants of the fallen kingdom have risen in rebellion. Lucy was surprised that the rebels were here. They need to leave because it's too dangerous here. Lucy noticed that Levinas also looked shocked. Levi asks her not to leave her, holding her hand tighter. Lucy asked why the rebels were here. Most likely, they came to get the king's head. The girl asks in confusion what this means. It all started with the attack of the kingdom of Peter Dilci when they heard about the emperor's illness. They sent them a warning, and the soldiers returned, bringing the head of Peter Dilci. Without a king, they can no longer hold out. There remained those who, it seems, did not accept defeat. The one who cut off the head must be the first prince. He is the main character of the novel. Since he is a member of the imperial family, he should be here. Levinas tells Lucy how to get to the shelter, and when she gets there, let her not leave Lady Alios's side. But Lucy asked where Levinas himself would go. She asks him to go with her because she is scared. She is afraid that Levinas will be left alone and in danger. Lucy feels like if she lets him go, the Levi she knows will disappear. Levinas finally agreed to go along. They were overtaken by 3 soldiers who asked them to come with them if they wanted to live. They think that Levi decided to show off in front of the girl, but Lucy knows that Levi won't be able to fight everyone at once. Levinas kindly asks them to back off. The soldiers laughed, thinking he was talking complete nonsense. But the 3rd soldier froze, looking closely. He suddenly realized that he knew him and got angry. When Levinas went on the attack, Lucy asked him to be careful. The lead soldier orders the others not to let him escape. Levins handles them without any problems. They recognized him as the commander of the imperial troops. Lucy didn't seem to expect to hear that, but she still wanted to know what Levi was doing here. He introduces himself to her as the first prince of the Vladan Empire. Aurelio Levinas Hadas. Lucy realized that he was the main character of the novel. Levinas is literally being talked about everywhere. But Lucy didn't know this. The Levi are informed that enemies have surrounded them everywhere. He told Lucy that he had to go now. Kissing her on the forehead, he promises her that he will not be harmed. Levinas promises Lucy that he will come back for her. Lucy remembers that Levi lived alone in the house and avoided everyone, and all because he couldn't say it. But the Levi that Lucy remembers is kinder and gentler. Finally, Alois finds Lucy. Lucy apologized for disappearing so suddenly. She needed to stay close to Alois, but Alois didn't immediately notice that she had disappeared either. But the main thing is that they both remained safe. When Levinas returns, he will see Alois. This means that from this moment, the storyline will begin. Lucy remembers that everything ends in a political marriage. The main character finds herself in danger, and the first prince saves her. He, unable to forget her, enters into a political marriage. Alois suddenly noticed how gloomy Lucy's face was. She reassures Lucy that everything will be fine soon. Previously, the first prince seemed scary to Alois. Lucy suddenly felt strange hearing her talk about Levi. It seems the ringleaders have been captured, and the atmosphere is calming down. Everyone greets the first and second princes, who have pacified the rebellion. They say that the first prince sorted everything out almost single-handedly, but the second prince is also here, and he hears everything. Here, Levinas is no longer Lucy's former friend. Everything feels so much different now. The riot has been suppressed, the auction has been cancelled, everyone must leave the building. At that moment, Levinas glanced towards Alois and Lucy. After that, he walked towards them at a rapid pace. Lucy had already accepted that the storyline with Alois was about to begin, but suddenly, Levinas takes Lucy by the hand and says that she will go with him. Levinas asks Delmar to look after Alois. Lucy is puzzled that Levi took her and not Alois. She has absolutely no idea what Levinas has in mind. The maids ask Lucy if she felt uncomfortable last night, but everything was fine, and Lucy thanked them for taking care of her. The maids complimented her that the dress suited her very well, but Lucy thinks they just chose him well. Soon Levinas enters the room, asking if she is ready. Her childhood friend had changed much more than Lucy thought. Levinas asks if Lucy had a good rest yesterday. The heroine still can't believe that Levi asked her to stay by his side. There was a feeling that if she refused, she would never see him again. Levi apologized because Lucy was scared yesterday. In front of her, he wanted to be just Levi. He was used to being alone, used to being constantly abandoned, but ever since he met Lucy, he wanted to live a normal life. The day Lucy came into this world, Levi's fate also changed. Perhaps his transformation into a tyrant can be prevented, but Lucy doesn't care who Levinas really is. No matter what, her feelings will not change. That's why she asks Levinas not to worry. It seemed that these words really calmed him down. Levi thanks her for her understanding. Raydan says that Levi is relaxing in the palace with the girl he brought. It was unexpected for Diana that he brought a commoner to the palace. Raydan said that they had known each other for a long time before this. Perhaps it was for her sake that Levinas demanded a separate palace. Diana didn't think he would dare to bring the girl to the imperial palace. To inherit the throne of the empire, one must enter into a marriage union. Delmar doesn't have a bride yet, and it won't take long before he gets hit. Raydan asked if she was worried about Prince Delmar. All of Delmar's merits went to the first prince. If this continues, the influence of Levinas's supporters will grow, but Diana said that was exactly why he called her. It is an honor for Raydan to participate in imperial affairs, but he says everything can be balanced. If people have stopped believing in Delmar, we need to make them doubt Levi too. There is a reason why Levinas tries so hard. Problems that need to be filled with achievements. Eventually, he was exiled to the village because of his red eyes, so they just have to find a way to expose this flaw. Her Majesty the Empress is becoming more and more harsh. Suddenly, Levinas bursts into their office. He asks Radhanam to lift the curse from Lucy, and he also needs to know what Radhanam has done.